She told him to choose, me or her, and he actually said he needed time to think. I still remember that night like a bad dream that wouldn't end. The rain was whispering against my window, and my phone buzzed with a message from Noah. It wasn't his usual sweetness. No, hey. Sunshine, no memes, no hearts, just a plain text. Can we talk? Something happened with Aria. My stomach dropped before I even opened the chat. Noah and I had been together for only 2 months. But those 2 months felt like the beginning of something real, something safe. He was gentle, funny, and the kind of guy who made small moments feel cinematic. He once asked me out by slipping a note inside my favorite comic book. You make my world brighter than any hero ever could. I fell hard, and I thought he did too. Until that message. When he arrived that night, he looked pale, eyes darting like he'd lost his map. We sat on the couch, silence thick as fog. Then he exhaled. Aria called me Aria, the childhood friend, the girl he grew up with, the one he swore was like a sister. Except he'd also admitted once after too many glasses of wine that they'd almost been something more years ago, before deciding it would ruin everything. I nodded, trying to sound calm. Okay. What did she want? He rubbed his face. She said she can't handle seeing me happy with you. She said it hurts. She's jealous, Lena. My heart clenched, then hardened. Jealous? Because you have a girlfriend? He nodded slowly. Yeah, she told me I have to choose. Either I end things with you or she'll cut me off for good. For a second, I thought I misheard. Then it hit me. This grown woman, 27 years old, had just issued a playground ultimatum. My lips curled into disbelief. So she's basically saying if she can't have you, no one can? Noah didn't answer. He just stared at his hands. Something inside me cracked open. Not from heartbreak, but from anger. Noah, this isn't love or friendship. This is control. You don't owe her your loyalty for making threats. He looked up, wounded. It's not that simple, Lena. She's been my best friend since we were kids. We've been through everything together. Then she should want you to be happy. I snapped. Friends don't hold each other hostage with guilt. The silence that followed was suffocating. He didn't argue. He just stood, pacing like someone cornered. I need time, he muttered. I need to think. That was the moment something shifted between us. Not the fact that Aria had drawn a line, but that Noah was considering standing on her side of it. He disappeared after that night. No calls. No messages. No late-night texts saying he missed me. At first, I told myself he just needed space. But as the days turned into a week, then two, that space became a canyon I couldn't cross. My mind replayed every detail of their friendship. The inside jokes he never explained. The way he always smiled when her name popped up on his phone. How he once called her my anchor, like she was something sacred, and now that sacred thing was demanding my spot. Each night, I stared at my phone screen, watching it stay dark. Part of me wanted to call him, to scream, if you need to think, then maybe I'm not the one you want, but I stayed silent. Because deep down, I wanted him to choose me without being told to. By day 10, anger had replaced fear. I imagined Aria, smug, self-righteous, convinced she'd won. Maybe she thought she could guilt him into crawling back. Maybe she believed she was the only woman who truly understood him. But if that was true, then why did she have to use an ultimatum? One night I finally broke. I texted him. If you still need to think about whether I'm worth losing her for, then you've already chosen. He didn't reply. That was the longest silence of my life. On the 14th day, just as I'd finally deleted his number, the phone rang. It was Noah. His voice trembled. Lena, I chose you. Told Aria it's over. She blocked me. I'm done. There it was, the victory I thought I wanted. Except I felt nothing but exhaustion. 2 weeks. 2 weeks of silence to think about whether I was worth standing up for. Now he came back, expecting a medal for loyalty that should have been instinct. I looked at my reflection as he spoke, eyes swollen, jaw set. Noah, I said quietly, I don't think I can do this anymore. He froze. Wait. What? I thought, it shouldn't take you 2 weeks to realize I'm not the problem. That was the night I ended it, and in the days that followed, I learned that Aria had already posted cryptic things on her, Instagram. Some people can't handle real friendship better. To lose the fake ones early. They're mutual friends, whispered. They said I was the reason. Noah lost his lifelong friend, that I was the one who made him choose, but I didn't force the choice. Aria did, and Noah just took too long to see what it said about both of them. He said he chose me, but every word since then felt like I was the consolation prize. It's strange how silence can be louder after everything's resolved. Noah came back to me with apologies, with soft eyes and promises of a clean slate. But something in the way he said, "I chose you," made my stomach twist. It didn't sound like love. It sounded like loss. He texted me constantly now, trying too hard to fill the gap those 2 weeks had carved. Coffee dates, voice notes, random flowers at my door. But no matter how tightly he tried to pull me back, my mind kept replaying that line. It's not that simple. He'd said it when I begged him to see what Aria was doing. And maybe he was right. Maybe it wasn't simple, because maybe a part of him never stopped belonging to her. When I met Noah's friends again, the same ones who'd once laughed with me over pizza and wine, their smiles had changed. There was pity behind them, judgment even. One of them, Mason, cornered me at a cafe. "You know, if you hadn't pushed him, he might have kept both of you in his life. Now he's lost his best friend and his girlfriend." I blinked, stunned. "I didn't push him, Mason. Aria gave him an ultimatum. I just refused to wait forever." He shrugged. "Still feels like you made him choose." That was the moment I realized they'd all taken her side. It wasn't just about Noah anymore. It was about how comfortable everyone was with blaming the woman who refused to be quiet. That night, my phone lit up. Unknown number. No message at first, just a typing bubble that came and went. Then finally, "You didn't have to end things." I never wanted this. My pulse spiked. The number wasn't saved, but I knew that tone, that rhythm, that subtle guilt trip wrapped in tenderness. It was Aria. I stared at the screen, frozen between fury and disbelief. "You issued an ultimatum," I typed back. "You wanted him to choose." Her reply came fast. "You think it was that simple? He didn't tell you everything." A chill ran through me. "What do you mean?" "Ask him where he was during those 2 weeks." I stopped breathing. My hands trembled as I typed, "Are you saying you two?" The typing bubble appeared again, then disappeared. No reply. I tried calling Noah immediately. He didn't pick up. Then a message popped up from him, almost like he'd sensed the storm. "Hey, can we talk tomorrow? I'm at Mason's place tonight. Long day." Except Mason had just posted a story. Poker night, 4 guys, no Noah in sight. My chest tightened. The irony was cruel. 2 weeks ago, he vanished to think. And now, even after choosing me, he was still disappearing in pieces. I sat in bed replaying Aria's words. "Ask him where he was. He didn't tell you everything." What could she mean? Did they meet? Talk? Sleep together? The thought made me sick. Days passed. Noah acted normal. Overly normal. Too many good morning texts. Too many miss you calls. And every time I looked at him, I saw the shadow of someone else in his eyes. Finally, I asked, "Noah, during those 2 weeks, were you with her?" He froze mid-bite at dinner, his fork hanging in the air. "What? No. Why would you even think that?" "Because she told me you didn't tell me everything." The color drained from his face. "She texted you?" "Yes, from an unknown number." He shoved his plate aside, running a hand through his hair. "God, she's unbelievable. She's trying to mess with you. Don't listen to her." His tone was defensive. Too defensive. Like someone caught before they could rewrite the story. "Then tell me the truth," I said quietly. "Where were you?" He looked down. "I stayed at her place for a few days." The words hit me like a physical blow. He didn't even look sorry. Just resigned. "It wasn't like that," he added quickly. "She was falling apart and I didn't want to leave her alone. Nothing happened, I swear." I laughed, the kind that breaks more than it releases. "You disappeared for 2 weeks, Noah." You ignored me, made me think you were confused. And you were living with her? It was complicated, he snapped. No, it was convenient, I shot back. You got to be her comfort while deciding if I was worth coming back to. That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat in the dark, realizing that Aria hadn't needed to win him back. She already had a part of him that was never truly mine. And maybe the cruelest part wasn't that he lied. It was that he believed lying was mercy. Before dawn, my phone buzzed again. Aria, one last time. Now you know. I hope you understand why I couldn't watch him lie to both of us anymore. By morning, I'd blocked them both. But the silence that followed didn't feel like peace. It felt like the echo of everything unsaid. Still, somewhere deep down, I knew this wasn't the end, because people like Aria don't walk away quietly, and men like Noah don't stay gone for long. When love ends with silence, closure doesn't come with an apology. It comes with truth. It took me 3 days to answer Noah's calls again, 3 days of pacing my apartment, replaying every word he'd said, every half-truth that now sounded like a lie. And on the 4th day, I texted him, "If you want to talk, let's do it in person. No excuses this time." He agreed instantly, maybe too quickly. We met at the small park near the cafe where we'd had our first date. Funny, how heartbreak loves irony. When I saw him, he looked smaller somehow, tired eyes, nervous hands. He smiled, but it didn't reach his face. "Lena, I just want to explain." "Then start explaining," I said, cutting him off. He sighed, staring at the ground. "I shouldn't have stayed with her. I felt responsible. She was spiraling, saying she couldn't lose me. I didn't want her to do something stupid. So you stayed with her out of guilt," I said flatly. "Do you realize how insulting that sounds?" He flinched. "It wasn't like that, I swear. I didn't touch her, I didn't—" "Stop," I interrupted. "It's not about what you did. It's about what you chose." He blinked, confused. "What I chose? You chose to protect her feelings instead of respecting mine. You chose silence over honesty. And when you finally came back, you called it love, when really it was just guilt." The words hung heavy between us for the first time. He didn't argue, he just nodded. Slow, defeated. "You're right," he said quietly. "But I did love you, Lena. Maybe you did," I said softly. "But love without courage is just fear dressed in romance." He looked at me like he wanted to say something more. But his phone buzzed, and the name that flashed across the screen made my blood run cold. "Aria," I raised an eyebrow. "Still blocked, huh?" He hesitated. "She texted me this morning. Said she wanted to apologize. She's here, actually. She asked to meet us both." I froze. For a second I thought about walking away. But then something in me, call it closure, call it defiance, whispered, "Stay." "Fine," I said. "Let's end this properly." Aria arrived 10 minutes later, wearing sunglasses though the sky was gray. She looked perfect, as always, the kind of polished that hides chaos underneath. When she saw me, she smiled like we were meeting for coffee, not a confrontation. "Lena," she said softly, "I didn't want things to go this way." "Then you shouldn't have made him choose," I replied. She took off her glasses, eyes glinting. "I didn't make him. I just told him the truth, that I couldn't be around him while he was with someone else. That's not truth." "Aria, that's manipulation." Her lips twitched. Funny, coming from the woman who made him cut off his oldest friend. Noah tried to intervene. "Stop, both of you. This isn't helping." But something inside me snapped, not from anger, but from clarity. I looked straight at Aria. "You don't love him. You just hate the idea that someone else could." For the first time, her composure cracked. A flicker of something, guilt, maybe regret, crossed her face. "You don't understand what we've been through," she said weakly. "You're right," I said, "because I don't build friendships on ownership." Silence, then Noah, voice breaking. "Aria, maybe she's right. We crossed lines we shouldn't have. I let you hold too much of me for too long." Her eyes welled up. "So this is it? You're both walking away?" Noah turned to me, but I'd already decided. "No, I am walking away. You two can stay right where you are, in the past." I grabbed my coat and stood. Noah reached out. "Desperate, Lena, please. You said you needed time to think." Noah, I just finally took mine, and with that I walked. No dramatic music, no cinematic goodbye, just the sound of my heels on wet pavement and the soft hum of closure settling in. Weeks passed. I deleted their numbers, their photos, their echoes, but sometimes, when I scrolled too far in my gallery, I'd find a picture of us and him laughing, me leaning into his shoulder, and I'd feel not sadness, not anger, just distance. One evening I got a letter in the mail. No return address, but the handwriting was unmistakable. Noah. Inside was a short note. You were right. It was never about love or loyalty. It was about fear, hers and mine. I hope you never let anyone make you a choice again. I smiled, folded the note, and tucked it into the back of the comic book he once gave me, the same one that started it all. Because sometimes closure isn't deleting the past. It's learning to leave it on the shelf. And as I looked out the window that night, watching the city glow under a quiet drizzle, I whispered to myself, let them keep each other. I'll keep my peace.